Alright, tracking down the Jefferson Highway, mainly Clay County, Missouri, but we're starting in a little town called Trimble, Missouri. Now you take a screen grab of this, take a screenshot. Here in Trimble, the Jefferson Highway splits. One part goes towards St. Joseph and then comes back, and then the other part heads north and east, and they both come together and go across the Iowa border to the north. No, I didn't get that screenshot. And I found Trimble has a few little treasures that probably date back to that time or a little bit after, namely this gas station right here, old gas station. Now my phones are not working very well. Oh, there's an old AMC Eagle. Okay. Waiting on somebody on a phone and somebody behind me, and we've reset our wonderful technology. Which has its quirks. Technology is wonderful, but it can also be infuriating at times. Right next to it looks like to be a gas station. Trimble, Missouri. And right here is the intersection where the Jefferson Highway meets itself, according to my maps and research. Doesn't look like much these days. Now we're heading south on F Highway into Smithville. It's a road trek camper van. It's a little newer than ours. I have to keep playing with the phone to keep it on, because apparently this mode that I'm in has some sort of battery saver thing going, which I don't need because I have it plugged in. I am traveling with Tima and Stella, our dogs. This would be the last nice day for a while. Tonight it's supposed to get really, really cold and stay that way for unforeseen or unknown amount of time. At least a week, but probably longer. What you doing, Tima? Alright, let's see if we're still going right. Yep. For some reason, Jefferson Highway is not well mapped at all. There's a map that the association, we've just entered Clay County and we're in Smithville. There's a map that the association has put out. It's the Jefferson Highway Association, but it's not extremely detailed. You really couldn't follow the highway. It's not a turn-by-turn kind of thing. And I found this one. I've been doing some research. I eventually hope to make it into libraries and look at old county plat maps. But I found this one on Google Maps that somebody had drawn. It's a lot more detailed, but it's still lacking in some areas. And I am hoping or attempting to I get killed at this intersection. I am hoping or attempting to draw maps as I drive using Mavericks, but my temperamental technology is putting that in doubt. And I'm trying to look as I go because, you know, over time things change. And you never know when you're looking off to the side if you see an old alignment of the original road or something of that nature. And hopefully by my mapping this, I can put it on Google Maps and then other people can tell me, oh no, I didn't do that, or you did it right, or there is a disalignment, but I have some research that shows that there's more out there, more alignments. You know, help people along to share the wealth, share the research. I think some people get involved in this kind of thing and they decide that they can make a buck or two either writing a book or something like that, which is fine. I'm not against that. But I think that it benefits the highway and people along the highway a little more if we just kind of open up and share some of the information and maybe make that money by doing something a little more creative, not taking things that are already out there, picking them up and claiming them as ours. I understand that people put time and effort into research, money and everything, but then I think it's all in how you put it together. It's not in trying to withhold information from people and then dole it out to them like precious jewels. I don't think that serves anybody. Coming into Smithville, and according to my map and according to this road here, I have to make kind of a sharp right-hand turn, which is roughly following Missouri, what is it, State Highway F? Or maybe that's County Highway F. When you get into Clay County, there's very few places on the highway that you actually see markers or memorials to the highway. When you get into Clay County, now you got to make another sharp turn to the south here, which I have the right of way. But when you get into downtown Smithville in the north end, there are a few businesses that have remembered it a little bit at least. Maybe they're members of the association, or maybe they're just history buffs. And there's a few signs up, or at least one sign up, if you were traveling on the Jefferson Highway. right turn. I see an area up here where it looks like the road went straight at one time. We're real close to Smithville Lake. That could be an old alignment. You know, the significance of being close to a big lake is that one of the things that change is oftentimes as they dam up a body of water to make a lake, they have to move a lot of roads and even whole towns out of the floodplain. Eventually becomes the bottom of the lake. But I kind of have a feeling it didn't affect the highway that much. Motorcycle course as well. Downtown Smithville, Missouri. Come to the intersection of I don't know and I don't know. F and well, it looks like a very interesting intersection here. F and I know it's not 169. We are coming into downtown Smithville. I can't quite read. My eyes are not that good. It's a small map. I can't quite read that. Junction DD. Still no road sign. All right, right up here in downtown Smithville, and get out and get a few pictures, is where you'll find the Jefferson Highway marker. Let's see. That was F and Bridge Street, Smithville. Stop to take a few pictures in downtown Smithville. Yep, one more. See if I can get this. Looks like it has a marquee of an old theater, but who knows? Could have been a hardware store one time. All right. And that marker I was talking about is here at the Brick House Cafe and Pub. It's actually not a marker, it's just like a bumper sticker. And it's very faded, so it's been quite a while since somebody's come along and somebody's done something on the Jefferson Highway. Make a slight jog here. Then you turn right. This is a landmark over here. It's called the Apollo House. I forgot all about it. I'm just taking my pictures. I'll get a picture of it. It's an old, oops, Victorian house. Hey, we're just so impatient. Come on by. Nothing for history. Actually, my fault. The hazard of being obsessive. Needed to get out of the road to do that. I thought I could do it quick. But it's called the Apollo House. So named because it's got a statue of Apollo on it. It's an old gas station with some interesting old school rims on the top of it. Also the hazard of what we do here. Hi, Tima. All right, we'll get out of Smithville someday. Hi, Tima. I think I need to do like Rich Dinkla is doing and put all sorts of lights and stuff all over my car so it at least looks semi-official and have these flashy lights going, and people will be more apt to go around me than get all infuriated and honk at me. You know, in Trimble, people saw me and they were curious. They were like, what's that guy doing? But, you know, Smithville is kind of a bedroom community suburb of Kansas City metro area, which is to the south of here. And from here on out, people don't care what you're doing as long as you get the hell out of their way. And in some parts of the highway, you have to be kind of defensive going through the city because they are not the most pleasant neighborhoods anymore. Although the neighborhoods that it passes through in Kansas City, and that's kind of tricky because I don't know exactly where it passes through. I just make a good guess. But the neighborhoods that it passes through in Kansas City are some of the most beautiful old homes you've seen, and just over time they've fallen on hard times and human greed, and neighborhoods have gone downhill, and landlords have taken over and turned everything to crap. this old highway. I'd like to change that a little bit. Let people appreciate the old roads. Give people a chance to celebrate it and maybe get some more commercial activity going. Now here we're going to join up with 169, which I believe is in the process of being turned into a interstate almost. It's built up to interstate standards to the south of here, coming into the city, and that's happened in the past 5 years or so, and there's a lot more interstates being built, a lot more proposed interstates. I think it's just because more and more population, we need more highways. If you look along the side here, you might see some traces of the old road. Gonna get windy. There's some traces of the old road to the east, and I'm not sure of that. Don't quote me on that. We're just going to follow this down until we come to, oh, I forget the name. There's a, what is it, Cookingham Road, and that heads east to an old unincorporated town called Nashua. There on to the south into downtown Kansas City, Jefferson Highway roughly becomes North Oak Traffic Way and goes through Gladstone and into the city. And I have been doing some research, as I've said before, about where the highway went by looking at old maps and things like that. And there's a little bit of confusion as to the exact routing, and there's a couple of old roads, like North Broadway is a little bit to the west of Jefferson Highway, and I would think that the highway might actually follow some older established roads like Old Broadway, which went by Old Pike Road, and there's a historic marker down there next to a church. But for now I will follow this map, as it tends to agree with many of the others that I've seen. Unfortunately, it's kind of a boring part of the highway, sort of the bypass, you know. It got built up and now it's more or less, it's a U.S. highway now, and might become an interstate in the next 10 years or so, but again, don't quote me on that. It's not up to me. But it might become part of Interstate 49, which goes all the way down. Well, it doesn't go all the way down because it gets cut off in Arkansas, but it goes, eventually ends up in Louisiana and New Orleans. And I-49 is kind of becoming synonymous with Jefferson Highway. of the old maps I've seen, this is essentially right. That the highway did. You made a sharp right-hand turn, now replaced by this interchange here. Struggling with this camera that doesn't want to stay put. And so our next stop will be an unincorporated town of Nashua, which was taken over by the city of Kansas City in 1964 in a big expansion. The tax base south of the river started going to nothing. The city, in order to survive, ceded a lot of land north of the river, which kind of led to there being almost two Kansas cities. Although there are two Kansas cities, there's Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas. This led to another dual nature of what we call in this area the Northland, which is all the area north of the river, and then Kansas City proper, which is south of the river. And over here to the left is an old radio station, excuse me, which is interesting. It's Art Deco. And I don't remember this Dollar General being here the last time I was here, which was about a little less than a year ago. I can get a few pictures here, it won't take long. Hopefully I won't be blocking traffic again. Won't get people irate. Pull over right here, turn around. Alright, took some pictures in Nashua. Now we're heading south on the old Jefferson Highway. There's some other communities that used to exist around here. Names still echo today in the names of streets. One is Barry. And I think up here close to Nashua there's another one called Gashland, which is not a very pretty name, I don't think, but this is now North Oak Traffic Way, which is a major north-south thoroughfare in the Northland. Runs right through the middle of Gladstone, which is a northern suburb of the Kansas City, Missouri area. It also crosses through North Kansas City, which is a separate city. And that's what confuses people around here, is because you have Kansas City North and then you have North Kansas City. And this is an interesting crossroads right here. This is the corner of Nashua Drive and North Oak. gets a little dull and boring for a bit unless you like suburban tract housing. Gladstone when the Jefferson Highway was acted. Gladstone was a small town called Linden, and I believe it was unincorporated until about 1950 when it changed its name to Gladstone. Original town grid at about what, I believe 70th Street in North Oak. And there's a marker which I'll go take a picture of for the town of Linden, which is right next to the community center. We're coming up to Berry Road, which was named after the community of Berry, another unincorporated area. Very small community. I don't think there's anything really left of it. And directly to our west is Metro North Mall, which has followed the fortunes of many malls in the United States and is now a dead mall. It is slated to be mostly torn down and remodeled into a outdoor mall, which I'm sure will do equally as well. And to the west of this area is a newer development called Zona Rosa, which is an outdoor pedestrian mall. And here the road starts becoming a little more interesting, becomes more like some 1950s architecture, strip road architecture. Favorite little coffee house too. I've decided that trying to do all this with as late a start as I've gotten today in one day is impossible, so I'm just going to do Clay County. I was hoping to do Clay and Jackson at least, and maybe a little bit of Cass County, which would encompass the whole metro area that Jefferson Highway passes through on the Missouri side. It does split in Kansas City and heads west and goes through Johnson County, roughly around Southwest Boulevard, to somehow it links up with Metcalf, I believe through Miriam Traffic Way or Miriam Lane, and then it heads south as Metcalf Road, which is a major thoroughfare on the Kansas side. But I've always planned on doing the Missouri side first, and then I'll do the Kansas side later. But about where the water tower is, to the east by about 2 blocks, is the old town of Linden. So we will make a little detour. I am not sure if Jefferson Highway actually followed this, went straight, or if it did try to jog into Linden. I don't think it did. I think it just kind of skirted the west edge of Linden. But I'm going to come over here and at least take a picture of the markers for the town of Linden. Not many people know about it. came on quick. This is actually downtown Gladstone. Oh no, I didn't pass it. Maybe a historic Linden neighborhood. They got some signs up at least for Linden. This is, Gladstone doesn't have much of a downtown really. Oh, I was thinking I went too far. I actually didn't go far enough. Gladstone doesn't have a downtown. Lost one of my cameras. Decided to go flying. Gladstone doesn't have much of a downtown, as I've been trying to say the past 3 times. It's basically is always a bedroom community, that suburb of the Kansas City area, and having been incorporated in 1950, I'm not sure if there was ever much here as far as a commercial district. If I remember right, we used to go to this community center here. Those plaques were in a park right behind the community center. Again, something that you have to get out of your car to find, and you can't do that from the interstate. You can't do that from even driving on US routes and never getting out. I only know this because, as I say, I went to this community center. I would bring the dogs sometime and walk them. It's a little park behind here in the community center parking lot, and that's how I saw the plaques. And it's only really significant because, it's part of the Jefferson Highway. It's one of the communities. So here is the center of the old town of Linden, Missouri. Historic Linden, Missouri. And let the doggies frolic too. They'll love that. Alright. We're going to go back the way we came, sort of. Get back on the track so we can be consistent with the map. After visiting this was the central park of Linden, and I was wrong about the date. Gladstone was founded in 1952, not 1950. It was named after the Gladstone telephone exchange, which I didn't know that until I read the plaque. houses. It's Head Rush Roasters. It's interesting. They have a machine inside where they'll roast a pound of coffee for you, fresh, so you know when the roast date was. And it's fascinating to watch because it air roasts it. It's like watching popcorn, except it's coffee beans. The coffee here is really good, and the owner of the place is a very nice man by the name of Eric, his wife. They also serve tea. And this business is not very old. It was started, there used to be a local burger joint called LC's. LC's shut down, and it sat empty for a few years, and I thought that was a shame. And then I watched these people come in and start fixing it up. They've done a really good job of fixing it up, and I don't mind making a shameless commercial plug for them because I like their coffee and I like going in there and visiting with him. I might, if he's in there today, I might even ask him if he knows about Jefferson Highway. He loves my dogs. They're always welcome to come hang out. Nice little area where they can hang out. It's the kind of place that I like to associate with. And it's right on the Jefferson Highway, according to my maps. Right, doggies? Kima. What you doing, Miss Kima? What you doing? Stella, you want to come up here too? Come on, Stella. Come on. Come on, Stella. Come on. Here we are docked. Head Rush Roasters. All right, that was great. Nice little break. Fun with Tima there. All right. Well, we still have some daylight left. Let's finish this thing. Heading south on North Oak Traffic Way, which is was once known as the Jefferson Highway. Although I kind of get the feeling that when you came into town, it didn't matter much to most people. Jefferson Highway, I think, was built as an improved highway for traveling north to south. Winnipeg to New Orleans or New Orleans to Winnipeg. Advertised for tourists, and I think back in that time when cars were a new thing, tourism meant that you were touring. You had leisure time, and in many cases, since cars were new, a lot of people in that era still relied on horses to travel. So it's mainly kind of a thing if you had money and leisure time. But as cars became more and more important to everyday Americans, good roads became more important. And the good roads movement actually started in the late 1800s, when I think many Americans went to visit Europe and saw that the governments in Europe built decent roads for people to travel on. It made life easier, and in America it was really hard to get around. Linden, there's several settlements along this road. Some of them later became tiny suburbs. If you look closely, you notice that some of these areas in the south part of Gladstone are actually little towns. And they kind of confuse people. One person sped through one of these little towns and discovered that they had a little police force too, and they ended up with a little ticket, and when they went to go pay it, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know if it was for real because the city hall was a suburban tract house. Here's one, Village of Oakview. And by little town, I mean little town, like just a couple of blocks. Again, there's a road just to the west of here, extension of Broadway. It's called North Broadway up here in the Northland, and it's also known as the Old Pike Road. And sometime or other I will go over there and read that plaque and take a picture of it, but not today. It was I guess an old toll road, and I'm not sure if Jefferson Highway ever was on it or not. Not that I could see by any of the maps, but that does sort of confuse you. Here's another Village of Oakwood. Maybe it's the same as the one. It's the one time, well, still is a lot of really big houses in there with big lots. A lot of people like the suburban lifestyle, tract housing, ranch houses, and wanted to have a little bit of property. it tends to get a bit confusing around here because we pass back into Kansas City, Missouri, and then we come down into North Kansas City, Missouri, a whole different town. Made with sugar-free mocha and sugar-free mint, I hope. I like to, we've been watching our figures, but most of the time we seem to watch our figures get bigger and bigger. Doggies. Come on, Tima. You gonna sit up here? Tima. Come on. This is, we're crossing over Vivian and North Oak Traffic Way. Vivian is a kind of a major east-west thoroughfare through here. And lots of, especially to the east, the Antioch area, where the old Antioch Mall was, another mall that died and it's been torn down. A lot of 1950s architecture around there. There's a place called, a little diner. What's it called? Hayes. And they claim to fame as their chili. A lot of people around here like chili and barbecue, but it's an old it's an old Valentine diner. It was built, I believe, and placed there. They started it on that corner in 1955, the Hayes family, and I believe the diner came, the prefab Valentine Diner came in 1960, and they're one of the few places that are open 24 hours, and they're starting to make me want to go visit there. But if I go visit there, then I'll really start watching my figure expand. To the west, if you follow this far enough, it takes you into the town of Northmore, followed by Riverside, Missouri, and then eventually you can get to Parkville, a really nice community. Great park. Temperature is still 70 degrees outside, which is amazing for early November, but that's about to shift suddenly. And this church over here looks like a rocket ship to me. I think it's part of Googie architecture. And when you come on the Jefferson Highway heading south, you'll hit a really nice view of downtown. I'm also not sure, the routing may have actually diverged from here. There's a little side road. It was, you could kind of tell was at one time maybe kind of a big deal or very important between here and North Kansas City. A lot of the roads around here have been reshaped and redone, straightened and everything. But now if you want to take this little side road, it just goes right off this way and kind of heads southeast and then south, and kind of comes in the back way nowadays in North Kansas City. That may have originally been the Jefferson Highway, I don't know. It's unfortunate they really didn't make very good maps way back when, and I'm not so sure if it really mattered when you came into town. I think that the Jefferson Highway or any of these auto trail routes would just kind of take you from town to town, and then once you got into town, it didn't matter if it always had another name anyway, and so why would they, you know? So you just pick up the auto trail route on the other side of town. I suspect that's true. I'm not so sure if that is true. But I don't think that they would number these streets, or, you know, say Jefferson Highway through the middle of Kansas City. My suspicion is that there was only one bridge at the time, and it comes off of this road we're on, North Oak Traffic Way, and then it headed east on Admiral, came into the north, into the old River Market, River Key area of Kansas City, Missouri, and then it headed east. And again, we're talking about the Missouri side, because I think it also headed south and then picked up 19th Street and then Southwest Boulevard into Kansas. But on the Missouri side, it headed east, I believe on Admiral, and then it made a right turn on the Paseo, and then the Paseo to Linwood, and then Linwood east out of town on the old Leeds Traffic Way. But as I am running out of daylight, that's a lot to do, so I won't be doing it in the night. Won't make for good pictures anyway. And some of those areas are not very nice anymore. They were really nice back in the day. Coming into a whole nother city. This is North Kansas City, and for people who are not from here, North Kansas City is different from Kansas City. Are we confused yet? Yes. It confuses even the locals. Great deal of the time you're talking about North Kansas City versus Kansas City North when trying to give people directions, and sometimes in the border areas it gets really strange. Here I have about less than a mile to go, or a mile and a half on my Clay County Jefferson Highway journey, so I might take advantage of the time, get a few pictures, and see if these computer people are here, and maybe talk to them about a computer issue that I'm having. And this area here right off of what do they call this? I think this is I'm not sure if they call it North Oak through here. This is, yeah, it's Burlington. North Kansas City has its own name for this street, which is Burlington. But then when you get back into Kansas City, it becomes Oak. Hence the north part of the Oak, to differentiate when you're trying to give directions to people. But over here on this corner, as you came into North Kansas City off of Burlington, you were greeted with a big car dealership. I believe it was Allen Chevrolet. and I'm not sure if they exist anywhere anymore, but this dealership this building here is really neat because it's beautiful Art Deco building with the Allen letters on top, and it looks like it was at one time neon. I wish they would light it back up. But hopefully it won't take too long, just to snap a few pictures and then head south. Just quickly running out of daylight. This is downtown North Kansas City, Missouri. And here is the Allen Chevrolet building I was talking about. Alright, got a few pictures and talk to my computer experts. Very busy street. Here comes another person. Cannot, I'm not. Oh, they'll wait. Downtown North Kansas City, Missouri. Kind of see if we can make a journey around the block to get back on to our highway. Again, this is North Kansas City, not Kansas City. Quite a few Irish themed bars in this town. Like it's trying to become another entertainment district. Mainly we notice this town is kind of famous for its Snake Saturday Parade, which is the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, and a lot of people come out. We came out last time, and then a lot of these people will go out and they'll drink. North Kansas City is a pretty industrial town. A lot of industry here, a lot of warehouses and stuff. Not so much as it once was. And I think this parking structure here is very interesting with the solar cells on the top. I don't know where the solar energy is going, but one thing I noticed about a lot of parking lots is there's plenty of surface which could be used to do something like that, generate electricity, but also it's great for people when they want to park. You know, they don't have to leave their car sitting out in the hot sun. Also protect the car and the people from the weather. Eventually a lot of cars may be electric. And it'd be nice if you could go in, pull into a parking spot and plug your car in and refresh the batteries so you can get to your next spot. Kansas City is Armour Road. North Kansas City, I mean, is Armour Road. The downtown district is on. And we're at the intersection of Armour and Burlington, or Armour and the Jefferson Highway. And we're heading south into downtown Kansas City, Missouri, where I believe the Jefferson Highway once again splits into an eastern and western section. But we're going to end today's adventure on the Jefferson Highway once we cross the river, and pick it up some other time, another day trip. Explore Jackson County, Missouri on the Jefferson Highway. Straight across the river right into downtown. Actually crosses into what they are now calling the government district of downtown Kansas City, Missouri, with the federal courthouse and the federal office building and the county and city buildings are. Crosses over into an area of Kansas City where Kansas City actually began. Man, there's a lot of impatient people driving around. We're gonna cut over into that area, which is River Market, River Key. Crossing over into Jackson County, Missouri. And this ends our Clay County portion of the Jefferson Highway. So until next time, we will pick it up right here, the River Market.